I don't know if I'm writing this to confess, to punish myself, or just because the silence of my apartment is too heavy to bear. All I know is that I ruined everything. And the worst part is, it wasn't quick. It took 20 years for my selfishness to destroy my life, but when the hammer finally came down, it smashed everything to pieces. 2 mistakes. 2 affairs, before the kids, before the house, before the life we built. That's all it was. Or at least that's what I told myself back then. That it didn't matter. That if I buried it deep enough, it would never matter. But it did. It always does. Back then I was 25. Arjun and I had been married for only 2 years. He was loyal, devoted, and busy building his career so we could have the kind of future he thought I deserved. I was restless, selfish, and foolish enough to think I deserved excitement. The first affair was with a co-worker. Just a few weeks of sneaking kisses in the parking lot, stolen nights when Arjun was out of town. It was thrilling, stupid, and meaningless. When it ended, I told myself it was a one-time lapse, that I'd never cross that line again, but I did. 6 months later, there was another man, a so-called friend. That one was worse. He came to our house, he drank with us, he smiled at Arjun while sleeping with me behind his back. I justified it to myself in every way possible. I was young, I was figuring things out. It wasn't serious, it was before children, before the real responsibilities started. When that affair ended, I promised myself I'd stop. And I did. For 20 years I was faithful, at least physically, but the poison of those 2 betrayals never truly left. I just locked it away in a box in the back of my mind, shoved it under layers of birthdays, vacations, school runs, and anniversaries. Arjun never knew. Or so I thought. He loved me with the kind of love most women only dream of. He worked hard, built us a beautiful home, and when our children came along, he poured his soul into being the best father imaginable. The kids adored him. Everyone did. To our friends, to our families, we were the perfect couple. And for years, I almost believed it myself. But every time he looked at me with that unwavering trust, some small part of me flinched. Because deep down, I knew I didn't deserve him. And then, 20 years later, the past came clawing out of the grave. It happened on a quiet Saturday evening. The kids were away at college. The house was peaceful. Arjun was in the attic cleaning old boxes. I was in the kitchen making tea when I heard him call my name. His voice was strange, calm, but heavy. When I came upstairs, he was holding something in his hand. An old phone, one of mine from before smartphones took over. I'd forgotten it even existed. "Look what I found," he said, his tone unreadable. I laughed nervously. "That old thing? It probably doesn't even work." "It works enough," he said, and his eyes locked onto mine. Cold. Hard. My stomach dropped. That phone? Why had I kept it? I'll never know. Maybe arrogance. Maybe carelessness. Maybe some twisted attachment to my reckless youth. But whatever the reason, it still had the messages. Flirty, dirty, damning messages. Evidence I had never bothered to erase. Arjun didn't need to raise his voice. He just read them aloud. Each word slicing through the room like a blade. Messages to my coworker arranging hotel rooms. Messages to my friend mocking Arjun's work hours as an opportunity for us to be together. My knees nearly gave out. 20 years, he said quietly. For 20 years I loved you without doubt. I trusted you without question. And this is who you really were. I tried everything, I begged. I swore it was before the kids, that it had meant nothing, that I had been young and stupid. I tried to convince him that the life we built afterward, the family, the years of loyalty, somehow balanced the scales. But you can't negotiate with betrayal. Not when it's written in black and white. Not when it rots 20 years of trust in a single night. He didn't yell. He didn't rage. He didn't even cry. That was the worst part. He just looked at me with a face so empty it made my skin crawl. "I want a divorce," he said simply. And that was it. 20 years of marriage collapsed into 2 words. The divorce was brutal. He had proof. Adultery, even years old, still matters in the eyes of the law when evidence is clear. The house went to him. Most of the assets went to him. He kept the family. I walked away with scraps. The kids sided with him, of course. I don't blame them. He had been their rock, their example of love and loyalty. When they found out what I had done, the disappointment in their voices was worse than any punishment. They stopped calling. At first, I thought they just needed space. But weeks turned into months, and months into years. Birthdays passed without a single message. Holidays came and went without an invitation. They call their father, they visit him, they celebrate with him. With me, nothing. Now I live alone in a small apartment I can barely afford. No husband, no children. No laughter, no warmth, no life. Just me, haunted by two choices I made 20 years ago. Back then, I thought I was invincible. I thought I could cheat, cover it up, and move on. I thought time would erase it, but time doesn't erase betrayal. It preserves it, like a wound beneath the skin, waiting for the day it bursts open. Karma is patient. For 20 years, it watched me smile in family photos, kiss my children goodnight, and pretend I was a good wife. And then, when I least expected it, karma ripped everything away. I cheated twice before kids. 20 years later, he found out. He divorced me. And now, I have nothing. Nothing except regret so heavy it crushes me every morning I wake up alone.